Memories of an Intergalactic Traveler. In the year 2457, when humanity had conquered the far reaches of the Milky Way, I embarked on an odyssey that would change my life forever. My name is Adrián Varela, and I am one of the few fortunate enough to have access to a quasar, a ship capable of traveling at near-light speeds, allowing me to traverse vast distances in a matter of days. My first destination was Zorath, a planet in the Vega system, known for its incredible crystal seas and emerald skies. Upon landing, I was welcomed by the Zorathians, a species of ethereal beings with telepathic abilities. I was struck by their hospitality and the way they could communicate thoughts and emotions without words. In Zorath, I learned about their millennial culture and their advanced meditation techniques that allowed them to travel mentally through the cosmos. My next stop was on the planet Hevora, in the Tau Ceti system, a world completely covered by a bioluminescent ocean. Here, I encountered the Hiverans, amphibious creatures that had developed an underwater civilization. I dived into their coral cities illuminated by phosphorescent algae and was amazed by their bioengineering technology, which allowed them to cultivate food and build structures underwater without harming the ecosystem. During my stay in Hevora, I met Lira, a Hiveran scientist who taught me about the symbiosis between her species and marine creatures. Her passion for life and dedication to studying marine biodiversity deeply inspired me. It was with her that I decided to explore the enigmatic abyssal sea of Hevora, a place few had visited and even fewer had returned from. Our journey to the abyss began in a small submarine designed by Lira. As we descended, the marine creatures became increasingly strange and fascinating. We passed through zones of absolute darkness where only the bioluminescence of abyssal beings illuminated our path. It was in one of these depths that we discovered an ancient structure, seemingly abandoned, that did not appear to be made by Hiveran hands or any other known species. It was an underwater pyramid, built with a material that emitted a soft bluish light. We decided to approach cautiously, guided by a mix of curiosity and fear. Inside the structure, we found a labyrinth of tunnels and chambers filled with strange hieroglyphs. Lira, with her vast knowledge, attempted to decipher the symbols, but they seemed to belong to an unknown language, one that had not been recorded in any galactic archive. As we progressed, the sense of antiquity and mystery intensified. In the heart of the pyramid, we found a central chamber housing an enigmatic artifact, floating in the air. It appeared to be a crystalline sphere, pulsing with energy. As I approached, I felt an immediate connection, as if the artifact was trying to communicate with me. Suddenly, images and sensations flooded my mind, visions of ancient civilizations, newborn stars, and extinct worlds. It was as if the sphere contained the memory of the universe itself. Lira and I realized we had found something of immense value, a legacy of a lost civilization that had traveled beyond our imagination. However, our exploration was interrupted by a sudden tremor that shook the entire pyramid. Something had activated, perhaps due to our presence. We quickly tried to return to the submarine, but the tunnels began to collapse. As we fled, the structure seemed to come alive, with lights and sounds pursuing us. We reached the submarine just in time and began our frantic ascent to the surface. Upon reaching safer waters, we realized we were not the only ones interested in the artifact. A fleet of unknown ships, with strange and ominous designs, appeared on the horizon. They were beings we had never seen before, and their intentions did not seem friendly. Lira and I exchanged looks, understanding that our adventure had just taken an even more dangerous and exciting turn. With the sphere in our possession and a new threat on the horizon, we knew we had to unravel the pyramid's secrets and discover the true history of that lost civilization before it was too late. Our odyssey had just begun, and the fate of many worlds might depend on what we were about to discover and protect. From those who sought to use the artifact for their own ends. With the fleet of unknown ships approaching quickly, Lira and I had no choice but to flee. Our only hope was to reach an allied base on the nearby planet Uran, where we could receive help and analyze the artifact in a safe environment. The journey to Uran was tense, with the unknown ships pursuing us relentlessly. Thanks to Lira's piloting skills and the speed of our ship, we managed to evade them long enough to make a hyperspace jump to Uran. Exiting hyperspace, we found ourselves in front of an immense floating city, the capital of Uran, known for its advanced technology and its crucial role in the Galactic Alliance. We were received by the Uran Council, a group of leaders from various species who maintained peace and progress in the region. Upon explaining our situation and showing them the artifact, their faces filled with astonishment and concern. They recognized the artifact as a creation of the ancients, a legendary civilization believed to have been extinct for eons. The council summoned Uran's best scientists and archaeologists to study the artifact. Meanwhile, Lira and I were taken to a private meeting room, where we were informed that the enemies pursuing us were the Cryllian, a warrior race known for their ambition to conquer and dominate through the use of advanced technology and ancient relics. If the Cryllian obtained the artifact, they could gain unimaginable power, endangering the entire galaxy. We decided to work with Uran's scientists to unlock the secrets of the artifact. We discovered it contained detailed star maps and coordinates of other locations similar to the pyramid in Hevora. It seemed the ancients had left clues scattered across the galaxy, possibly to guide future civilizations to superior knowledge or a crucial resource. But we didn't have much time. The Cryllian had tracked our jump and were on their way to Uran. With the Galactic Council deciding whether to destroy the artifact to prevent it from falling into enemy hands or to try using it for our defense, the situation became critical. It was then that we received a transmission from a distant corner of the galaxy. An unknown but strangely familiar voice warned us of a third player in this quest, one that had been observing from the shadows. This entity claimed to know the true purpose of the artifact and offered its help in exchange for our cooperation. Lira and I were at a crossroads. Should we trust this mysterious new ally, risking everything in a desperate gamble? Or would we take the safe path, preparing for an imminent battle with the Cryllian, knowing that destroying the artifact might be our only option? The fate of the galaxy hung by a thread, and time was running out. With the artifact glowing with renewed energy and the forces of darkness approaching, we prepared to face the challenges ahead. Knowing that every decision we made would be crucial, we accepted the Galactic Council's offer to strengthen our defenses, but we also decided to investigate more about the mysterious entity that had contacted us. Through a series of encoded communications, we discovered that the entity called itself the Guardian. It claimed to be the last survivor of the ancients, safeguarding their secrets and watching over the balance in the galaxy. The Guardian provided us with coordinates to a hidden planet in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, where we could find more artifacts and possibly answers to our questions. Lira and I, accompanied by a small elite team provided by the Council, set off for the hidden planet. We arrived in a star system on the edge of the galaxy, where the stars were older and the planets more mysterious. Upon landing, we found ourselves on a world covered in dense jungles and towering mountains. The atmosphere was charged with a strange, almost palpable energy. As we ventured into the jungle, guided by the data provided by the artifact and the Guardian's instructions, we found ancient ruins, remnants of an advanced civilization that seemed to have vanished without a trace. The ruins were adorned with symbols that were becoming familiar, the same hieroglyphs we had seen in the underwater pyramid of Hevora. In the heart of the ruins, we discovered a monumental temple, half buried by vegetation. Inside, we found a secret chamber housing several artifacts similar to the one we carried with us. It was an astounding discovery, but also unsettling. These artifacts seemed to resonate with each other, creating a kind of energy network. Suddenly, the Guardian appeared before us, not in physical form, but as a holographic projection of a being of light. It revealed that the artifacts were pieces of a much larger device capable of manipulating reality itself. This technology had been used by the ancients to maintain balance in the galaxy, but in the wrong hands, it could cause destruction on an unimaginable scale. As the Guardian explained the true nature of the artifacts, we received an alert from our ship. The Cryllian had arrived on the planet and were advancing rapidly towards our location. We had no time to lose. The Guardian guided us to a hidden chamber beneath the temple, where it showed us how to activate the artifacts together. This process would trigger a protective shield around the planet, preventing any unauthorized access. However, it also warned us that once activated, there would be no way to deactivate it without the proper keys, which only it possessed. With the Cryllian closing in and tensions at their peak, we decided to activate the shield. The process was complex and dangerous, but with the Guardian's help, we managed to complete the sequence just in time. A golden energy field enveloped the planet, repelling the Cryllian ships and ensuring our temporary safety. We knew this victory was only a small part of a much larger war. With the Guardian at our side and the knowledge of the ancients in our hands, we prepared for the next step in our intergalactic odyssey. The galaxy was full of secrets, and we were determined to uncover them all, no matter the risks we faced. The true challenge was yet to come, and with each new discovery, we drew closer to the truth hidden among the stars. We knew that our safety was temporary and that the Cryllian would not give up so easily. While Uran scientists continued their studies on the artifacts and the Guardian provided us with crucial information, Lira and I began to plan our next move. The Guardian revealed the existence of a series of ancient portals scattered across the galaxy, allowing instant travel between different points in the cosmos. These portals had been created by the ancients as an emergency network to mobilize quickly in case of a galactic catastrophe. However, the portals had been inactive for millennia, and only a master artifact could reactivate them. Our mission now was to find this master artifact. The coordinates provided by the Guardian led us to a star system known as Serpentis, famous for its iridescent nebulae and resource-rich planets. We landed on the largest planet in the system, Serpentis Prime, a world full of ancient ruins and mysteries. On Serpentis Prime, we were welcomed by the local inhabitants, a race known as the Serpens, serpentine beings with vast ancestral knowledge. They too had been waiting for someone to reactivate the portals and restore balance to the galaxy. They led us to the Catacombs of Wisdom, a vast underground labyrinth where it was said the master artifact was hidden. The journey through the catacombs was arduous and dangerous. We faced ancient traps, mechanical guardians, and puzzles that challenged our understanding. However, with each obstacle overcome, we felt closer to our goal. The symbols on the walls and the minor artifacts we found helped us better understand the ancients' technology and intentions. Finally, we reached the central chamber of the catacombs, where the master artifact rested on a crystal pedestal. It was a golden sphere, radiant with pure and powerful energy. As I approached the sphere, I felt an even deeper connection than with the other artifacts. It was as if all the knowledge of the ancients flowed through me. As Lira and I prepared to retrieve the artifact, a tremor shook the ground. The Cryllian had arrived on Serpentis Prime and were beginning their attack. We had no time to waste. With the help of the Serpens and the Guardian, we activated a series of ancient defenses that protected the catacombs, but we knew this would only delay our enemies. With the master artifact in our hands, we had to find the nearest portal and activate it. The Guardian guided us to a hidden structure atop a sacred mountain on Serpentis Prime, where one of the ancient portals was located. Upon arrival, we inserted the master artifact into the portal's pedestal, which began to glow intensely. The portal activated with a burst of light, creating a vortex that connected to another corner of the galaxy. We knew we had to pass through it, but the Cryllian were getting closer. With a mix of determination and hope, Lira and I crossed the portal's threshold, being transported to an unknown destination. We emerged in a strange and fascinating world, full of technological wonders and alien landscapes. We had arrived at another advanced outpost of the ancients, a place that held more answers and undoubtedly more challenges. With the Cryllian still in pursuit and the galaxy's fate at stake, we knew our mission was far from over. Each step we took brought us closer to the truth about the ancients and their legacy. The adventure continued, and with each new discovery, we prepared to face the challenges that awaited us. To be continued. In this new and unknown world, the alien landscape around us was both fascinating and bewildering. Large crystal structures rose towards the sky, pulsating with an energy that seemed to resonate with the artifacts we carried. The Guardian appeared again as a projection of light, indicating that we had arrived at Etheria, the neural center of the ancients' portal network. This place held not only the key to activating all the galaxy's portals, but also the source of the energy that powered them. It led us through a vast underground complex filled with advanced technology and ancient relics of knowledge. As we explored, we found holographic records of the ancients, showing their final days and the reasons they had hidden their secrets. It seemed that a dark force, even older and more powerful than the Cryllian, had threatened their existence, forcing them to hide their technology and scatter their knowledge across the galaxy. The Guardian showed us the Nexus Chamber, the central core of Etheria. This place was the heart of the portal network and contained the Stellar Conductor, a device capable of controlling and redirecting the portal's energy. With the master artifact, we could reactivate the entire network and use it to mobilize the Galactic Alliance's forces against the Cryllian. However, before we could proceed, an alarm resonated through the complex. The Cryllian had discovered our location and were trying to force their way into Etheria. The Guardian, with a worried expression, urged us to hurry. Lira and I worked frantically to integrate the master artifact into the stellar conductor. Meanwhile, our allies, both the Serpens and Uran's forces, fought to hold off the invaders. The stellar conductor began to activate, emitting a series of energy pulses that resonated throughout the complex. Suddenly, an imposing figure appeared at the threshold of the Nexus chamber. It was the Cryllian leader, an intimidating presence charged with dark energy. With a voice resonating with terrifying authority, he warned us that our actions could unleash a cataclysm if we did not fully understand the power we were handling. The Guardian intervened, creating a light barrier to protect us while we completed the stellar conductor's activation. It urged us to trust in the Ancient's wisdom and stay firm in our mission. With one final adjustment, the stellar conductor fully activated, connecting all the galaxy's portals into a luminous and vibrant network. At that moment, the chamber filled with a blinding light. The portal's energy concentrated into a single point, creating a vortex that would not only repel the Cryllian but also reveal the location of the last piece of the Ancient's puzzle, the Nexus of Eternity, a place where all questions would find answers. As the light enveloped us, we knew we were on the verge of a monumental discovery, one that would change the galaxy's fate forever. With the Cryllian leader attempting to break our final defense and the future hanging by a thread, we stepped into the unknown, prepared to face the truth that awaited us. As the light transported us through the vortex, we emerged in a place that defied comprehension, a space between realities where pure energy and crystalline structures intertwined in a cosmic dance. We were in the Nexus of Eternity, the heart of all the Ancients' knowledge and power. The Guardian explained that the Nexus was both an infinite library and a source of unimaginable energy. Here, the Ancients had stored their deepest wisdom and most dangerous secrets. However, accessing this information would not be easy. The Nexus was protected by trials and guardians, ensuring only the worthy could wield its power. As we advanced, the Cryllian leader reappeared, having managed to follow us to this sacred place. The tension was palpable. We knew a confrontation was inevitable, and the galaxy's fate depended on the outcome. We split into two teams. Lira and some of the Serpens headed to the Nexus's core to try to access its knowledge, while I, along with the Guardian and Uran's warriors, prepared to face the Cryllian leader and his forces. The ensuing battle was fierce, with bursts of energy and explosions resonating throughout the Nexus. In the midst of the fight, an ancient door opened, revealing a hidden chamber filled with devices and manuscripts. Lira deciphered part of the texts, discovering that the Ancients had foreseen this confrontation. They had left specific instructions on how to use the Nexus's power to restore balance to the galaxy and repel any threat. As Lira worked against the clock to activate the devices, the Guardian sacrificed itself to hold the Cryllian leader at bay, demonstrating a bravery and loyalty that inspired us all. Its sacrifice gave us the time we needed. With one final effort, Lira managed to activate the Nexus's central device, unleashing a wave of energy that resonated across all realities. The energy wave enveloped the Cryllian, destabilizing their technology and expelling them from the Nexus. However, the Cryllian leader, with a look of fury and despair, launched one final attack directly at us. At the last second, the Guardian, with its remaining strength, deflected the attack, saving us but perishing in the process. With the Cryllian defeated and the Nexus secure, we gathered around the central device. The Ancients' knowledge began to flow into us, revealing not only the secrets of their technology but also a vision of a future where peace and balance could be restored to the galaxy. However, we knew the battle was not completely over. The Cryllian remained a threat, and other challenges awaited us. With the power of the Nexus of Eternity at our disposal, we prepared to return to our world and face the consequences of our adventure. The galaxy's fate was in our hands, and although we had won a crucial battle, the war for balance and peace was far from over. With renewed hope and the Ancients' knowledge guiding us, we were ready to face any challenge the future held, knowing that the true journey had only just begun. As we prepared to return to our world with the newfound knowledge from the Nexus of Eternity, the light of the vortex began to envelop us again, guiding us back to Etheria. Emerging, the atmosphere was one of relief and sadness. We had won a battle, but the Guardian had fallen and the Crelian threat still loomed over us. Lira, the Serpens, and I reunited with the Galactic Council on Uran. We explained what we had found and how the Nexus's power could be used to defend us and restore balance to the galaxy. The Council leaders, impressed and moved by our story, decided to unify the efforts of all allied races to use the portal network and prepare a defense against future Crelian incursions. With the stellar conductor activated and the portal network fully operational, we began to mobilize our forces. Scientists and strategists worked tirelessly to decipher more of the Ancients' knowledge and adapt their technologies to our needs. Uran's engineers began constructing defenses based on the schematics found in the Nexus, while the warriors of Serpentis Prime trained in new combat tactics using the Ancients' ancient weapons. During this time, Lira and I were called to lead an expedition to the heart of Crelian territory. Our mission was twofold: gather intelligence and, if possible, negotiate a truce or find a way to deactivate their most dangerous technologies. The Galactic Council knew that the only way to ensure lasting peace was to better understand our enemies and, if possible, reach a diplomatic solution. We ventured into Crelian space, using the portals to move quickly and avoid detection. We discovered that the Crelian Empire was fragmented. Not all their leaders shared the same vision of conquest. Some, weary from centuries of war, were willing to listen to our proposals. On one of the frontier planets, we managed to establish contact with a dissident group, who revealed to us that the supreme Crelian leader sought not only power but also feared something even greater than himself. This revelation changed our focus. If the Crelian feared an unknown force, it could mean that another threat was on the horizon, one that could endanger the entire galaxy, including them. We returned to the Council with this information, convinced that the only way to survive was to unify all available powers, even those of our former enemies. The Galactic Council decided to send a delegation to the heart of the Crelian Empire, with Lira and me at the forefront, to negotiate an alliance against this new threat. We knew our mission would be extremely dangerous and that mutual distrust would be a difficult obstacle to overcome. We arrived at the Crelian capital planet, a cold and desolate world dominated by imposing metal structures and advanced technology. We were escorted to the Great Hall of the Crelian, where the Supreme Leader awaited us, surrounded by his counselors and elite guards. The atmosphere was tense, but there was a ray of hope. We began the negotiations, talking about the Ancients, the Nexus, and the common threat we faced. As we discussed, an alarm sounded in the Great Hall. An unknown fleet had appeared on the sensors, moving with precision and speed that surpassed even the Crelian. The threat they feared had arrived. The Supreme Crelian leader looked at us with a mix of fury and desperation. If you possess the knowledge of the Ancients, then we must fight together, he said gravely. Because what is coming is darker and more dangerous than anything we have ever faced. With this alliance forged in the fire of urgency, we prepared to face this new enemy. The battle ahead was not just for the survival of our individual worlds, but for the future of the entire galaxy. And as we armed ourselves and strengthened our alliances, we knew that every moment counted, and the fate of countless lives depended on our actions in the days to come. The approaching threat was a fleet of ships that did not follow known design conventions. They moved with terrifying grace, like predators stalking their prey. Lira, the Crelian leader, and I watched the sensor screens, knowing that our newly formed alliance would be tested immediately. The Galactic Council, aware of the situation thanks to our urgent communications, began mobilizing all available forces to the Crelian capital planet. Within hours, a combined fleet of ships from Serpentis Prime, Uran, and other allied systems began arriving through the portals activated by the stellar conductor. While our forces prepared for the imminent confrontation, Lira and I worked with the Crelian engineers to adapt the planetary defenses using the knowledge acquired from the Nexus of Eternity. We installed advanced shield generators and energy weapons that combined the Ancients' technology with modern innovations. The battle began with an explosion of lights and energy as the enemy ships initiated their attack. The planetary defenses withstood the initial onslaught, but the invaders' technological superiority was evident. Our ships formed defensive formations, creating barriers of fire and energy shields to protect the planet. Amid the chaos, we received an encrypted transmission from one of the enemy ships. It was a warning message, not a threat. We are the heirs of the void, the voice said. We are the last remnants of those who came before the ancients. Our mission is to protect the galaxy from an approaching evil. You are in the way." This revelation left us stunned. If the heirs of the void were as ancient as they claimed, their knowledge and power could be the key to facing the true threat lurking in the shadows. With this new information, Lira, the Crystalline leader, and I decided to attempt establishing a dialogue with them instead of continuing the battle. Using an ancient communication frequency discovered in the Nexus, we sent a message of peace, explaining our situation and our intention to unite the galaxy against any common threat. The response was immediate. A ship from the heirs of the void broke off from the fleet and landed on the capital planet. A tall, ethereal being, clad in armor that seemed to be made of pure light, emerged from the ship. Its presence was imposing yet reassuring. "I am Seraphiel, spokesperson for the heirs of the void," it said with a resonant voice. "We have observed your struggle and your alliance. Perhaps we judged too hastily." Seraphiel led us aboard his ship, where he revealed the existence of an entity known as the Devastator, a cosmic force that had destroyed countless civilizations before the ancients. The heirs of the void had been created to contain this threat, but now they needed the help of all the galaxy's forces. With this new understanding, we began to plan a unified defense. The heirs of the void shared their advanced technology and knowledge of the Devastator's strategies. With their help, we reinforced our defenses and enhanced our weapons. The galaxy was preparing for its greatest test. The heirs of the void's ships joined our combined fleet, creating a formidable force. Meanwhile, in the heart of the Nexus of Eternity, a select group of scientists and strategists worked to find a way to use the stellar conductor's power to weaken the Devastator before it arrived. Tension grew as time ran out. We knew the Devastator was on its way, and our actions would determine the future of all living beings in the galaxy. On the bridge of our flagship, we watched the sensors, waiting for the moment when the darkness that had annihilated the ancients would make its appearance. With each passing day, our alliance grew stronger and our defenses more robust. And although the uncertainty was great, so was our determination. We prepared to face a force beyond comprehension, knowing that the galaxy's fate depended on our ability to fight together as one. As we prepared for the final confrontation, the darkness of space seemed to intensify as the Devastator's imminent arrival approached. The alert systems detected a massive anomaly at the edge of our system, confirming our fears. The Devastator had arrived. The enemy materialized as an immense entity of dark energy, absorbing light and matter around it. Its presence was overwhelming, casting a shadow that seemed to drain the very life from space. The combined fleet of our ships and those of the heirs of the void deployed in a defensive formation, ready for combat. Seraphiel, along with Lira and I, coordinated our forces' movements from the flagship. We knew that facing the Devastator would require more than just brute force. We needed to use the ancient knowledge we had acquired from the Nexus of Eternity. With the stellar conductor and the artifacts in our possession, we had a chance to weaken the Devastator. The battle began with an explosion of light and energy. Our ships launched a coordinated attack, using weapons that combined advanced technology from the ancients and the heirs of the void. The initial impacts were devastating, but the Devastator responded with even greater power, sending waves of dark energy that disintegrated everything in its path. While the ships fought in space, Lira and I worked frantically to activate the stellar conductor. With the heirs of the void's help, we channeled the portal's energy into a single point, creating a stream of pure force directed at the Devastator's heart. At the battle's climax, we managed to activate the stellar conductor. A dazzling beam of light traversed space, striking the Devastator directly. The dark entity wavered, its structure beginning to crumble under the combined force of our technology and the ancient's energy. The Devastator launched a final desperate attack, a wave of energy threatening to destroy our flagship. In that moment, Seraphiel sacrificed himself, using his own essence to neutralize the final threat. With a burst of light, the Devastator was finally disintegrated, dissipating into the vastness of space. The battle was over, and with it, the Devastator's threat. Seraphiel's sacrifice and our united forces had saved the galaxy. We gathered on the flagship, where a moment of silence honored the fallen and celebrated our victory. With the Devastator defeated, the galaxy's races united in a new era of cooperation and peace. We used the knowledge acquired from the Nexus of Eternity to rebuild and advance, ensuring we would never again be vulnerable to such a threat. Lira and I became ambassadors of this new alliance, traveling from planet to planet, ensuring that peace and progress continued. The Guardian and Seraphiel's sacrifices were not in vain. Their legacy lived on in every act of cooperation and every scientific advance we achieved. The galaxy had changed forever, and although we faced new challenges and discoveries, we did so together, with the hope and determination that had guided us through the stars. And so, the Memories of an Intergalactic Traveler became a saga of hope, sacrifice, and unity, lighting the way to a bright and promising future.